The men's basketball team saw a star freshman go down with a devastating injury, spoiling an energizing win. We take you back to the XL Center to recap a day full of emotions.
The baseball team traveled to Scottsdale, Arizona for the MLB4 tournament, where they saw some promising performances from both veteran and freshman players.
Plus, the women's basketball team is experiencing something that hasn't happened since George W. Bush was in office. All that and much more coming up next on UC Sports.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Goncalves.
And I'm Noam. With recruits and former stars packed into a sold-out XL Center, the men's basketball team wanted to put on a show against Memphis. But just 58 seconds into the game, a cook landed awkwardly and stayed on the ground, clutching his leg. He was carried off by teammates after suffering a ruptured Achilles that will knock him out the rest of this season and most likely the start of next season. Head coach Dan Hurley was emotional, speaking about a cook after the win.
Just proud of the way the guys fought. And character they showed. So it was a big win, obviously, but it doesn't feel like there's no joy in it when something like that happens in the first minute. So sports is brutal sometimes, life is brutal sometimes. So Cook will come back from this and be that special player that he deserves to be, destined to be. So.
With their main shot blocker out, the Huskies could have gone into their shell against a talented Memphis squad, but they stepped up. Isaiah Whaley, James Bouknight, and Christian Vitale led the Huskies to a gritty 64-61 win in front of 15,664 at the XL Center. The Huskies return to action Thursday night at Temple, and our own Celia Ryan and Jake Ferrari will have the coverage from Philly. Meanwhile, Taya, this Memphis win is great for right now, but the loss of a cook really stings.
It really does. This injury has broken the hearts of fans and players, but a cook has gotten nothing but love and support from everyone, including touching social media posts from teammates Jalen Gaffney, Sid Wilson, James Bouknight, and Tyler Pauly.
A cook underwent successful surgery yesterday and was already back on campus to be with his teammates this afternoon. Let's take a look at that.
With spring just around the corner, the baseball team started their season facing off against some of the best teams in college baseball, down in Arizona. While the lineup starred many familiar faces, UConn saw some action from freshman players, with first baseman Reggie Crawford being at the forefront of rookie play. For the Huskies, the first two games fell short of anything spectacular, showcasing offensive struggles and sloppy defense, leading to an 0-2 start on the season. Sunday was a different story for UConn. Pitcher Nick Croth held strong on the mound, only allowing one run to score and striking out 5 batters. However, Crawford was arguably the star of the game for UConn, showing fans what he can do on the field and at the plate, grabbing 2 hits and 5 RBIs for the Huskies. UConn walked away from this game with a 7-1 victory over Michigan. The team looks to build upon this win as they head to Port St. Lucie, Florida, where they will face off against Michigan again, this time for a 3-game series.
That's a big weekend for Reg right there. The baseball team faced number 1 Vanderbilt Friday, and Michigan is the new number 1 team, so it's a daunting schedule to start for sure. Now, speaking of rankings, the sky, Taya, is falling. UConn women's basketball fell out of the top 5 for the first time since 2007 when George W. Bush was in office and Internet Explorer was the most popular web browser. Imagine that. The unthinkable has happened, we know. The Huskies are just 21-3, and they only beat USF by 20 down in Tampa this weekend. They're playing at the XL Center as we speak, destroying the mighty Green Wave of Tulane. They'll come back to campus Saturday for Senior Day at 2, and then finish with 3 more conference matchups before they begin their AAC tournament run at Mohegan Sun in early March. Right now, we're going to send it to Nick and Sebastian for our Doghouse segment where the guys break down what the basketball teams can do going forward.
Thanks, Noam. I'm Nick, this is Sebi, and this is the Doghouse. Yes, sir, yes, sir. All right, so we got a problem here. Question, Sebi.
Yeah.
All right, UConn women's basketball. I mean, they've been struggling. They've been lost, some big games this year. For me, listen, we lost to South Carolina, Oregon, Baylor, You know, everybody seems like the sky's falling, but you know, what are your initial thoughts on what's going on with the Huskies at the tournament? What's going on?
The problem is the sky is falling. See, we haven't been able to accept the reality of this situation.
And what is the reality?
That we are not good enough. See, I'm not here to make friends with the team. I'm not here to make friends with Gino.
Yo, we're 22-3.
22-3. 22 and trash.
We lost.
What is the problem? Crystal Dangerfield was
Okay.
the only person who scored double-digit points against Oregon, and we're expected to face these teams, these good teams. We're going to be out in the round of 64, and if not in the round of 64, we're going to be out in the round of 32. I don't care how crazy that sounds. When I'm right, you can come to me.
All right, listen, and I'm gonna completely rebuke this statement. Listen, my sophomore year, my junior year, Gino won 100 games. You could go back in the film, get the UCTV tape.
Right,
go
there's
back
a problem.
in the tape.
Right,
go
there's
back
a
in the
problem.
tape. Listen,
he's living in the past. That's the problem. He's living in the past.
It's in the numbers. It's in the numbers. Gino Chamberlain, 100. You could get his face with the 100 next to it. Gino's gonna get it done. Listen, come the tournament time. It's about coaching and guard play. We got Crystal Dangerfield, one of the best guards in the country.
Listen,
and we got Gino, we got the best coach in the country.
Tell him Gino doesn't even have to book his hotel for the round of 32. He doesn't even have to book it. Speaking of book,
Mohegan, that's what we doing?
Speaking of book though, book night's been carrying this UConn team. What do you think about? Do you think the men have a chance to make it far in the American Conference tournament?
Listen, book night been hooping. The whole team, honestly, they've been hooping. These last couple of games, they've been able to get it together. Been playing a lot of close games, but I feel like come tournament time, come AAC tournament, they actually could make a run. And this is why. Listen, like I said before in the women's game, also in the men's game, guard play, defense, that's what's important. And UConn's been doing their thing when it comes to that. But listen, we got to see what happens when it comes to three-point shooting, because that will always be a kryptonite when it comes to tournament play. And UConn, unfortunately, they're not a great three-point shooting team. We'll see what happens. How do you think they're going to do?
It's going to be difficult. I mean, right now, it's the Christian Vital and Book Night show. Book Night had 20, Vital had 23, Book Night had 17. There really isn't another playmaker on the squad, and a Cook's injury is just going to hurt the team overall. His passion for the game, his love for the game, his three, his D, it's just not going to be replaced. Isaiah Wiley, there's no way he's going to perform on a level that's consistent.
He's been balling.
He was balling Sunday, but is it going to be consistent? And I don't think it is.
No, and we'll see. And we look forward to seeing what they could do. UConn, again, they always kind of lack that scoring depth, and we'll see what happens when it comes to the team. Anything else regarding the team? What's going on? What you expect from them, though? They're ranked low in the conference.
Yeah, they are ranked low in the conference. I think they're going to make it far. They're going to make a good run, maybe 1 or 2 games. I don't think they're going to win it. I think, it's going to be, I hate to say it, but they're going to have to enjoy the NIT, because, that's going to be what they're doing. Yeah.
NIT, man, listen.
It's pretty
it's basketball, man. We
got
to get it together, man. We're not going to talk about football this week. We're going to talk about football another week. We're going to do what we got to do. We'll go back to the studio. Noam and Taya, thank you. Doghouse, hold up. Doghouse.
Sebi said it. Round of 64, they're out. I'm sorry.
Round of 64, man. Come on, dog. Yep. This is last day. This is Sebi's last day with UCTV Sports.
The softball team had themselves a weekend, going 5-0 and having 2 players receive AAC honors. An 11-hit and 10-run weekend earned sophomore Asia James AAC Player of the Week, and junior Mary Beth Olson's no-hitter against Central Michigan helped her score AAC Pitcher of the Week. The Huskies are red hot right now, having won 7 games in a row, bringing the record to 8-2. UConn is headed to California this upcoming weekend for a fresh set of 5 games, where they will play in the Capital Classic and look to continue on their winning streak. The men's hockey team fell short of sweep this weekend, falling to Maine in OT in their 2-game series. While Saturday wasn't the outcome they wanted, the Huskies took a 3-2 victory on Friday, giving the Black Bears their first home loss of the season. UConn is currently 9-8-2 in Hockey East play, and they're going to have to finish out the season strong if they want a spot in the Hockey East tournament, as the remainder of their games are all within the conference. They will play another 2-game series this upcoming weekend, this time against the Boston University Terriers.
Now, meanwhile, back on campus, the women's hockey team celebrated Senior Day on Saturday. After beating Merrimack handily on Friday, they couldn't match that on Saturday as they stumbled and fell 2-1 to the Warriors. The team, though, sits at 16-14-2 and in solid position to make the Hockey East playoffs after this weekend's set at BU. Before anything else, Jake Ferrari is standing by with your Husky High 5 plays of the week.
Thanks, Noam. I'm Jake Ferrari. I got the top 5 plays in UConn sports this week. Roll the tape. At number 5, it's Crystal Dangerfield taking the pass, taking the leaner, splash. UConn beats USF by 20. Number 4, Isaiah Whaley, the pork chop. Big game, 6 blocks against Precious Achua. Dominated that matchup. More from that game later. At number 3, Reggie Crawford. Into the gap, all the way to the wall. It rolls. Not 1, not 2, but 3 runs score in UConn's first victory of the season. At number 2, big weekend for UConn softball. Center fielder Asia James all the way into left, the dive and the snag. What a catch. Great job by UConn softball this weekend. And number 1, Christian Vital, the sniper, the steal, dribble, pass, slam, bam. Thank you, ma'am. James Bouknight, number 1 play. UConn upsets Memphis. Back to you guys in the studio.
The women's lacrosse team was also in action this past weekend down in Virginia to take on James Madison. The Huskies fought hard with the Dukes, a team ranked just outside the top 20, but they ended up falling 11-8. They returned to action to host UMass Lowell on Friday at 3 p.m. here on campus. And though it's the middle of the offseason, the UConn football team made the news yet again for the wrong reasons. As first reported by Alex Putterman and Neil Ostrout, 3 players from the team were arrested last week, stemming from a November 23rd incident where O'Neal Robinson, Keon Gillespie, and Ryan Carroll broke into a room in Wilson Hall, a dorm on campus, and stole, get this, Yeezys, a Supreme jacket, and a PlayStation 4, among other items, totaling approximately $5,000. Gillespie has been suspended indefinitely, while Robinson and Carroll both entered the transfer portal this offseason.
Huskies in the pros. Shabazz Napier, Jalen Adams, and Ken Facey all sat courtside on Sunday to witness a stellar performance by the men's basketball team. Adams, a 2019 graduate, also stopped by the student section as the game got underway. Also, Byron Jones was spotted at the UConn spring football practice on Tuesday morning. Plus, Kemba Walker dazzled in the NBA All-Star game, putting up 23 points and continuing his stellar year.
Kemba, baby. Now that's all for UC Sports this week, but make sure you're following us on Twitter and Instagram at UCTV Sports, where we post all sorts of content, interviews, and packages that you will not want to miss. Now, as for the coming week, like we said, men play at Temple tomorrow. We'll have coverage there, and there's a whole lot of other action in UConn athletics, so stay tuned. For Goncalves and our entire crew behind the scenes, I'm Noam Watt. Good night, everybody.